we crack data science interview? Okay, so that is what is our main objective for this entire session. And yes, so first of all, you need to understand that data science is basically is not a centric subject. Okay. So the first thing that we should understand is what are the different aspects of data science is there. So one of the aspects, so what I will do is our entire next 1 hour, we'll actually try to understand what are the questions and what are the things that we are going to cover. So let me first tell you, first we will structurize that. How should you approach for a job? So you cannot, just learning the algorithm won't help you in landing in job. Okay. You may be knowing the algorithms, you may be knowing the formula, but still you will not able to crack the interviews. That is for sure, because all the interviews ask for experience. Now, it is quite obvious that freshers don't have any experience. That is quite obvious, and that is quite true. And that is what we all are fighting with, right? So then how can we get this experience? So there are a couple of things. There are a couple of techniques, couple of practice, couple of you can say uh, uh, projects that you have to work with, and then you get that experience, and then you can easily crack any given interview. Doesn't matter whether you have an experience, whether you don't have an experience. Okay. Because what is required for an experienced guy, if you can just get that through certain knowledge, you can easily crack any interviews. Doesn't matter. So you get to see college freshers going and hitting FANG companies with 1 CR package, right? College freshers going and hitting Google, Microsoft with a huge amount of package. Why? And not why everyone doesn't get it. The difference is the amount of experience and practice they do it. That's the only difference. Okay. Now, typically, I will be kind of going through over the multiple screens. So yeah, just bear with me. So just a minute. Let me share my whiteboard. Yeah. So first of all, you need to understand that what is the difference between the normal programming or software engineer job role, okay, and difference between programmers, you can say, and difference between data scientists. This is fundamental. Okay. My writing might be a bit bad, but yes. So what is the fundamental difference between programmers and data scientists? Programmers needs to be logically very strong. Even data scientists do. Okay. So for specifically, if you see uh, any of the software developers or software engineers, or we say it as software development engineers, SDE. If you apply for an SDE role, then the things are quite different comparative to you apply for a data scientist role. What is that difference? Data scientist needs to actually, so for SDE, you need to have a logical strength. You need to have a very good amount of logical strength. Okay. Means logical reasoning, you can say. Now, what is this logical reasoning? Let's say if I ask you immediately that can you print a palindrome, can you kind of write a palindrome number? Okay. So that is what is your logical reasoning. Okay. For other than that, what are the other important aspects? One of them is data structure. How can you optimize your entire code? So data structure is one of the typical important part. How can you optimize your code? And how can you streamline your entire code? So first is SDE, which is logical. SDE role needs to have a very strong logical reasoning, be it any kind of logic, be it a palindrome, be it a prime number, be it an even number, be it a Fibonacci series. Okay, printing an array, printing an pyramid, 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. Okay, you need to have a very strong understanding between objects, class, and its properties of inheritance, polymorphism, and so many things, right? There are so many things being there. So these are some of the areas where you need to be very strong at. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you are building a website, it doesn't matter whether you are building any mobile application. Some or the other way, logical reasoning should be very important, and you should have a very good hold in data structure, unless you cannot crack even the first round of interview. And finally, the second round of interview is basically with system design. The second round of the interview is with system design. What is system design? The first round of the interview is the first round of the interview is so far with logic building, logical reasoning, and everything all about. The second part is scalability, system design. Means you have 10 users, then how you will define and how will you build your algorithm? You have 200 users, then how will you scale your program? You have 2 million users, then how will you deal with the program? For each and every steps, you need to really tweak your entire algorithm. You need to build your algorithm in a way so that you can eventually build a proper end-to-end system. So two parts. One is this logic building part, this entire thing. Okay. The next is system design, which includes scalability. Okay. Specifically, if you go for a product-based company, if you want to join TCS, then these are nothing of your cup of tea. Okay. No questions will be asked from here. They will just simple aptitude test with certain programming question. That's it. But if you want to join a product-based company, be it a small product-based company, maybe that company is not generating any revenue so far, but that company needs lot of expertise on these areas, logic building and system design. So this is a part, these are the areas where for an SDE, it is important. Now, you can say that as a fresher, you can be very good at logic building because it doesn't need any experience, because logic is something that comes from mathematics, that comes from data structure. You really don't need to build logic to write an even number code. You don't really need you don't really need an experience to write an even number code. You don't really need an experience to write this array-based hierarchical code, the pyramid code. You need a logic, that's it. You need to be very strong enough with data structure and logical reason. But for scalability, you need experience, because it cannot be tackled within one single program. You need multiple different tools. There where your experience comes from. So basically, when you are going for an SD role, the first part is given more importance for freshers. I'm talking only for those who want to kind of jump into interview and those who are kind of in their career transition mode, those who want to kind of jump into the development stage. So SD1 role majorly focus on this area, and SD2 is basically focused on system design. 2 and 3, rest all of them. System design is one of, they will be having more amount of interviews related to the scalability issue. And as you go on, as you climb on, both the things matters. And then there are some external tools plus some external tools, which is very, very important, which includes what? Maybe the development tools. Okay, it's not your Eclipse and all. What type of API? REST API. Okay, then you have the different DevOps tools, how to do the patch management, Jenkins tools. Okay, port quality check, SonarQube, Artifactory building, JFrog Artifactory building. So those are some SDE tools, which I will not focus much, but I'm just giving an example. Comparison. Okay. Now come to data scientist. Now the problem with data scientist is data is all about real-time data sets, real-time or real world information. It can be your sales data, it can be your hospital data, it can be your financial data, it can be an HR data, it can be any given type of data. Now, if you don't have, so the primary, now let's come to data scientists. What are the expectations? What do we expect when we hire somebody? Okay. Even when I hire somebody, what do I expect for my organization? Now, then it completely varies from organization to organization. So if I go for a service-based organization, service-based company, mostly domain knowledge matters a lot. And irrespective of service-based company or irrespective of any given company, domain knowledge. Okay. Now, what is domain knowledge? So domain knowledge means, let's say I am working in a finance domain. As we are data scientists, so data scientist doesn't build any app. Data scientist will actually solve real-time business problem statement. Why my sales is falling down? Why my stock price is going down? What are the reason of stock price going down? Okay. What is the disease progression? If somebody is suffering from diabetes, then what would be the next disease that patient will be suffering through? What are the products that I want to buy today? And what will be the products that I will be buying in next 7 days? What are the grocery items I want to buy in next 20 days? If we can predict these problem statements, we can solve a lot of our business issues. Most of our business problems will get solved, because these are our real-time problems, real-time questions, business questions. So domain knowledge is very, very important. It is super important. That's the reason why every data science position needs an experienced guy. But you can now ask me, then what about fresher? If everybody looks for an experienced guy, then where the fresher will come from? So now coming to fresher. So you need to first of all decide that which domain you want to choose, because data science is basically mother of all trade. It can work in retail. It can work in healthcare. It can work in finance. It can work in HR, operations. Okay, any given industry you take it, retail, healthcare, finance, marketing. Recently we were solving a problem for Head and Shoulder shampoo, which is very famous in India. They want to understand that how much money they should spend in their advertisement so that they can get a better return on investment. These problems you won't get in Kaggle. These problems you won't get in any given open source data set. So you really need to first select that which area you want to work, and then you need to gather some knowledge in any of these domains, because business problems are very different than your Kaggle projects, than your open source projects, have nothing to do with it. Do you know the real-time healthcare projects, they face 80% data which are null, means data is not there, because not everybody is ill, right? Not everybody is a patient. You have a very limited amount of information, and how can you pull out an intelligence from that limited amount of information? So let's say in a hospital there are 100 patients. Now you want to do any sort of your analytics related to cardio-related issues, cardiovascular issues. Now cardiovascular issues are somewhere around, let's say total in a hospital there are 1,000 patients. 1,000 patients are there. Cardiovascular issues is somewhere around 8%. Okay, so you have only 8% data. Just imagine 8% of 1,000. Only this much amount of data, and you need to predict that what are the root cause of these patients having cardiovascular issues, what are the root cause of this patient, and what is their progression, means in next few days whether this patient will again get affected with cardiovascular disease or not. And if you can predict that, then it is going to be a game-changing one. So in your internet, you will get to see that big data means huge number of data. In reality, it is not every time the same. Not always you have a huge amount of information. So reality is far away from what we actually get trained on. Okay, so the first step is select your domain. If you apply for that domain where you have a good amount of knowledge, you can easily crack any interview. If you don't have a knowledge, so what I'm saying that don't apply in all the jobs which are present in LinkedIn, which are present in Naukri.com, which are present in Cutshot.ai, sorry. Don't apply in all the jobs, because they have very specific, the recruiter doesn't think in that way. They don't think on what algorithms you know, because when you are applying, you are also saying that I know regression. When I, as an experienced guy, am applying for a job, I am also saying that I know regression. Then what's the difference between you and me? So the first point of differentiation that you need to make is that you need to select your domain, do a bit of study on that domain. Let's say you are selecting a retail, do a bit of study that what retail data is all about. Is this just because of selling the products? No, it is not at all. Is it just an associative algorithm, market basket rule I want to apply in the data, and I want to predict that tomorrow with Onion, what are the products the person is going to buy or the customers are going to buy? This is not the problem statement, because it is already there. Somebody has already solved. Okay, so I have a question here. If you work in a finance domain and want to change the domain on healthcare, then what is the solution? There is no option. Like see, first of all, you need to understand healthcare domain there. What are the information available with healthcare domain? Okay, so I will come to that. Yes, how to show credibility, I will come to that. Don't worry. I'm setting up the steps. Okay, one by one, I will explain you. How can you set up that your expertise? I will come to that. First part is selecting the domain. Okay, once you select your domain, that yes, I want to work in healthcare. Great, I want to work in healthcare. So start studying about the healthcare data sets. Start studying about healthcare data set. What are the different norms and rules that are presented by government? Okay, and then start gathering those information if you can. Okay, not every time you will get the real world examples, but yes, you need to do it as a fresher. Okay, you need to do it where you can basically go and gather the information as much as you can. Google is there, lot of information is floating here and there, but right set of information can be only be guided by the mentor. Previous to healthcare, everybody thinks that I just need to predict diabetes. We don't do that. Okay, we don't predict diabetes. We predict that for next how many months the patient can suffer for a diabetes. So I will come to that, Ankita. Okay. So if you follow this, the first is select your domain. Whether you are a fresher, whether for an experienced guy, it is already getting selected because they are landing into a job. They are working on an industry. They will choose their own industry. Let's say you as a working in a healthcare will choose healthcare. Somebody is working in a marketing will choose marketing. Okay. And once you select your domain, do a bit of research in that domain. Do research. Don't get into an assumption that what algorithm we have to use. Algorithm comes at the end. Algorithm comes at the end. Okay, because regression can be used in healthcare, can be used in finance, can be used in anywhere. But in order to get your CV selected, you need to show that which domain I am getting in. Okay. Next is do your research. What is there in that particular domain? What are the problems current industry is solving? Likewise, in marketing, I gave an example. We were recently doing a project where we were trying to predict that what should be the advertisement cost for Head and Shoulders shampoo to spend, what advertisement cost they should spend, and what is the best return on investment on that particular spend on that particular advertisement. So this kind of problem statements, this is one use case I'm giving. Okay, there are more use cases as it. So you need to do that research, that what are those different type of use cases. Once you do this, next is try to explore with data science. So let's say this shampoo, okay, the shampoo use case for this marketing. Okay, what should be the cost spent on an advertisement on daily so that they can get a return on investment. So for this, you need to have a thorough understanding that how the advertisement psychology works. Okay, you should have a thorough understanding on that. Why? Because based upon that, you are going to select your algorithm. So is this, what kind of problem statement is it is? Anybody can say what algorithm you would like to choose predicting the advertisement cost. You can put that in your comment box. What algorithm you would like to choose if I ask you to predict the cost on advertisement? Given that what type of data you have, let me tell you what type of data you have. You have monthly sales, sorry, not monthly, I would say weekly sales data. You have weekly sales data, and every week you get to see the you will get to see the total number of sales, total sales, total profit, and total revenue as well, because you need to also calculate return on investment. So total revenue, total profit, total revenue. Okay, one of my friends says linear regression, the other one LSTM. Okay, just put it on comment. Linear regression. Neural network and regression. Okay. Multiple logistic regression. Okay. Your target is what should be the advertisement cost? Unsupervised. Okay. Fuzzy. Anything else that you want to give it as an answer? Anybody else would love to try? Multiple linear regression. Okay. SVM, support vector machine. We are not classifying, boss. SVM linear or SVM classifier? We need to specify that. Just saying SVM won't help. Let me give you the answer. Answer is we don't know what algorithm has to be used. Predictive analytics. Okay, fine. We don't know what algorithms has to be used. Why? Why we don't know? Because we haven't explored yet. Correct. We need to explore. This is the first answer is we need to explore. No regression, no algorithm is the answer to do this. Perfect. Feature engineering is the answer. You cannot say that sales is equivalent. Sales is having a linear relationship with advertisement cost. It can be an opposite as well. It can be an opposite as well. You are giving a lot of advertisement, but your product is still not getting sold. It can be a non-linear as well. You are giving an advertisement, but still product is in a stagnant state. So you cannot decide with just by seeing a problem. So this is the biggest problem. You cannot decide by saying one single algorithm because you will never know that what the data actually speaks. So first thing is you need to understand what your data says. We need to do a exploration. We need to do an EDA, exploratory data analysis. And then decide that what could be the best part. Yes, that you can, this is a very good point. Asking a right question. So just giving a question and then you just simply answer it, it says that you never think on the question. You never think on any given problem statement. If you just straight away say the answer, you never think on a problem statement. That's the impression as an interviewer I see. So you need to say that then is the data, is the sales is going up with the advertisement cost? And that is all not always. That is not always. So what is the typical trend? So this is not a linear regression problem, first of all. This is a time series problem. Yeah, Om Prakash, you have any question? Okay. So this is a time series problem. Because you make an advertisement today, which is let's say 22nd May. You make an advertisement today. The effect of that advertisement will be immediate and then slowly it will decay. Again, you make an advertisement on the next day, again the effect will come and then slowly it will decay. So it's a time series with certain decay function. Some decay functionality is there. So we need to identify that from the data and then we need to solve this problem. So from your question itself, we can understand, from your answer, we can simply understand that whether you have enough knowledge about data science or not. So that's why I said that take a domain. If you randomly give an interview, you randomly keep on applying on any interview, they will actually, the interviewer is working in that domain, have a very good experience, very good knowledge, will easily catch you that you are just simply floating here and there. Everybody is starting and studying data science, but they don't understand the pulse of the data. And that experience you can get only by working in real-time project. And that is what Neuralverse provides. Working in multiple algorithms doesn't make sense if you work on only two algorithms. If you work on only two algorithms, but you understand the concepts, you understand the feature engineering part, you understand what are the variables, values, how to handle missing values, large amount of missing values, 80%, 90%. You cannot drop those missing values. That is what you need to learn. Because just quickly, I am changing the topic to healthcare. As I said, not everybody is getting infected. Not everybody is getting the cardiac arrest. So you will get a very limited information about that. Very limited information. With this limited information, you need to predict next cardiac arrest. Sorry, cardiac arrest. With very limited information, maybe 2000 records. Now, with 2000 records, you simply cannot use any of these heavy machine learning or deep learning algorithms. Linear regression, logistic regression, these doesn't work out here because of the nature of the information. You have only the information, you have only, let's say, next cardiac arrest, you need to predict just by, you have the information that what are the previous diagnosis, patient has suffered. That's it. No other information on your blood report, no other information on your simple, like when you visit to a doctor, you go to a doctor, doctor will ask that what are the previous conditions you had. Maybe you didn't go with a report always, right? Doctor will go through your previous conditions, then doctor will recommend you, okay, go through these reports, come back with a report, I will give you the medicine, right? So just try to think that how can we put an AI over there where just by using those vital information, vital means basically the precondition information, or what are the disease that you have suffered previously, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Okay, with those information, how can you predict the next cardiac arrest? These are the real-time products. These are your real-time information. And that's why the organization, the companies, they don't try to, they focus mostly on experienced guy. They pay more to the experienced guy because they know that if I hire some experienced guy, then I will get these information. They have this experience on the data. They can easily come and hit the ball in the office. They can easily hit the project. So that's why selecting a domain is very important. Coming back to then, what is the next? Once we select domain, then what next? Okay, build your knowledge around that domain. Okay, so let me go back to the slides. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me take you through the slides. So first is, it all starts with the knowledge. Once you select your domain, try to gain as much as knowledge as you can. Okay, either with working on some hard problems, hard data sets. Don't work on Kaggle problems because features are already there with you. Limited features, 10 to 12 columns. What if you have 100 100 plus columns. What you will do when you have 100 plus columns? 200 columns. These are your real instances. That is the reality of the data. So Kaggle doesn't have 200 columns. They all use a pre-processed information. So that's why, that's the difference. Feature engineering, doing a feature engineering on 8 columns is very easy. Doing a feature engineering on 200 columns, that's a very hard problem. So your knowledge gets limited if you start working on those Kaggle problems only, or any open source data. You need to really work on real-time projects, real-time deliverables. Build your resume with those projects that are real-time. Don't use Kaggle project. Don't say that I have worked on heartbeat prediction. Don't say I have worked on some building house price prediction. Everybody knows that's a very, very basic. That's a Cerelec for data science. So build your resume in a way where you really give some problem statement that is really hard to solve, that is fundamental to a business. Prove your deliverables. Okay, means you have really worked on that. You need to prove that particular deliverables. So I have a question, I have an answer here. We select column based on business questions and criteria. Not always. Not always. In healthcare, person suffering with cardiac arrest, you have the previous all other informations. You don't know that which particular condition is actually leading to cardiac arrest. There are some, it is partially true that you take the business problem statement and then you select the columns. It is partially true, but you need to actually think a lot along with the features, feature engineering as well, how to do a feature engineering on a massive amount of data. Okay, 200 columns, how to do that. So these are something to learn. Okay? So this is what we kind of go through in our entire project. Okay, project-based learning. Okay, it is not like going with the Kaggle data. That doesn't teach you to deal with real-time projects. I will come to that, Shadman. That is very important, and I will come to that. So prove your value deliverables means that if you have predicted the cost of advertisement cost for a shampoo company, how effective it is, you need to prove that. You need to say it is not about accuracy, that I got 90% accuracy. No, nobody cares about it. Does it really delivered any dollar? Does it saved any dollar? Does it really increases the sales? So we need to talk about adoption. Just by saying that I got an accuracy of 96% in my project, I don't bother about that. I want to see that how much value you have added in that business while working in that project. That you will not get in Kaggle. That you will not get in any of the open source, any of the Coursera courses or any courses you go through. Nobody teaches you how to evaluate. That is called as value engineering. Go and Google it out. It's known as value engineering. So you need to also learn those skills as well. And the next is, I don't know the answer. There can be a questions where you may not know the answer. And it all happens with everyone. It also happens with me as an experienced guy. And why I don't have an answer? Maybe the information what interviewer is passing is it's maybe not correct. So don't try to answer all the question until you feel that that question is justified. I remember one of my interview, there was a question that if I give you, if I have a multi-class to predict, and let's say I have total of 100 class to predict. Okay, in a data science problem, not in neural networks and all. Okay, in data science problem, how will you justify that which class is the best class? This is not an ML problem statement. This is whole lot of experience statement. So sometimes it is better that you don't know the answer rather than just answering all the question. The interviewer panel will also test you with some questions which doesn't really have any answer, but you are trying to kind of justify that. So if you feel that this question I don't know it, straight away say that I don't have that answer for this question. Maybe I need to see the data, I need to analyze the data, and then only I can give you the answer. With just single English statement, we cannot say anything. And you need to have an end-to-end data science journey. Means it is not about model development. It is not about always the algorithms. How you deploy those algorithms, that is very important. So you deploy using any MLOps tools, that is very important. So that is what is real-time experience. You don't get any experience from Kaggle. Deploying using AWS Cloud or GCP or Azure. Deploying in database, most of you may not have heard that. Deploying your model in database. Yes. Deploying the model in data warehouse. So those things you need to experience with real-time project. And that's what we do in Neuralverse. We try to give you the end-to-end experience. Next is interview hack. So something that I have already mentioned, these are the steps always you should keep in mind. Exposure to real world problem, this is very important. Research your topic. Whatever is written in your resume, don't just go with the algorithms. That won't give you the real exposure. Go with the topics that you want to learn, that you want to showcase, that you want your interviewer to ask with. Let's say you are building this advertisement cost project, and you want to predict your let's say you want to kind of showcase that yes, I have given this advertisement, I have worked on this advertisement cost project, and this has helped to reduce a lot of dollars in terms of leakage of revenue, because as I said, I was explaining that every advertisement has a decay effect. So that decay keeps on happening, right, with a given time. So that is quite sure, quite natural that you will have it. Okay. So you have to research on your topic. What are your loopholes? Don't always explain the shiny part. Don't tell that, yes, your project is very good. You have reduced X, Y, Z. You have done a very good job. That is not the truth of any data science project. You cannot crack anything with data science. You can just lead the way. You can create a path. But your ideal results will only come over a period of time. You cannot immediately get the results. Most of the data science project. If I build a model today, I cannot get experience from tomorrow, result experience. Because it needs 6 months, 7 months. It will tell you that what are the different changes. What happens when there is some festival coming in picture. Then how I should dynamically invest in the advertisements. What happens if there is sudden change in repo rates from RBI? The purchasing power of the people gets reduced. Then how should I spend in my advertisement cost? There are so many things that you should consider. So this you can only answer if you have a good domain knowledge, and that's why the series of these bullets comes in. Then prototyping, like you build a program, you build a model, you need to talk more about its deployment. How did you develop it? Why did you choose that algorithm? You should have a cause. You should have a reason. Why are you choosing linear regression? Why are you choosing SVM? Why are you choosing clustering? Understand that first. Okay. Linear regression is just solving the errors. It has nothing to do with any of the advertisement cost. It is just to reduce the error. That's it. The objective is to reduce the error, including multiple features. But what should be my optimized cost? Can you really predict the cost? So there are a lot of things. What if, in spite of cost, what if we predict some multiplier? So let's say we want to predict 0 to 1, 0 being the least cost or no cost, 1 being the, you can say, I'm not talking about categorical, I'm talking about continuous value. But I want to predict a multiplier, means 0.5 into some advertisement, some baseline advertisement cost, I will multiply and I will get the result. 0.8 into some baseline cost, I will multiply and I will get the result. Okay. So, okay, content aggregator followed by sentiment analysis. See, content aggregator, it depends from where you are pulling the content. Sentiment analysis is quite common and has nothing to do with real-time business problems. Right? It is already floating here and there. You have the ready-made APIs which can easily tell you what is the sentiment, whether it is a positive, whether it is a negative, whether it is a neutral. Just a simple 10-line codes will actually tell you. So you need to understand that you need to just doing the real-time project is different and working on some of the information which is really floating here and there, it's different. Everybody works on sentiment analysis, but how many people you have heard working on this advertisement cost, predict the advertisement cost? Okay, fractal analytics, you must have heard, is actually working in this project. So I was kind of freelancing with fractal analytics, and we were actually solving this problem. So you need to understand that the problems in real world are different with the problems which you already have in place. Because sentiment analysis is no longer now, it's no longer a data science project. It is going to the NLP, and nowadays we have a lot of ready-made APIs which are available. We can use Rasa, we can use the simple NER extractor, Spacy NER. Simply you can build it. So what is that value add you have added? What is that experience you have gained in that project? So that is what you need to understand that. So once you solve this problem, then get into the grip of your interview. Means try to answer all your question in a way, okay? Try to answer your question in a way so that the next question should come from your topic only. Don't answer the questions which you don't know. Don't answer in a way, or don't answer some algorithms. Maybe you have not, you know that algorithm, maybe you don't remember it right away. Okay. Maybe you might have forget the steps of that algorithm. So don't answer. Answer in a different way. And then when the interviewer says that, oh, you can do in this way as well, then you can say, yeah, you can do in that way. Correct. You are correct. So simply get into the grip of the interview. Okay. This is just a small trick. Okay. That if you forget an algorithm, but don't try to miss that question. You know the algorithm. Maybe you don't know the algorithm. You know the name of the algorithm. But try to replace that with some group of algorithms. Maybe that is a bad answer, but still you are attending that question. And then I'm sure that interviewer will say that, why don't we do in this way? Okay. then you can say that yes, you are correct, you can do this. You can basically work in that algorithm as well. Yeah, so that is also possible. And talk about your knowledge, your problem statement very deeply. Don't get into the interviewer's problem statement, then you will lose. You will definitely lose, because they are working in real world project, they have a lot of exposure which you don't have. Okay, and make sure that you showcase your expertise. Okay, you should have your own comfort region, comfort problem statements. You should have your own solutions where you should be well enough prepared. If you are selecting NLP, well enough prepared with NLP. If you are selecting data science, well enough prepared. Don't merge NLP with data science. In data science, mostly statistical question will come. They will not ask you NLP questions. That is the biggest problem. Machine learning engineer and data scientist, both are different job role. If you are focusing on data science, focus on statistics, focus on population management, focus on statistical data, focus on structured data. Don't focus on NLP and all of those. You will lose the interview. And if you're focusing on ML engineer, then go ahead and work on NLP related stuff. If you focus on computer vision, go and work for computer vision. Don't try to apply everywhere. Just by working on the algorithm, but just by knowing the algorithm, you won't be able to succeed it. Because again, real world exposure and all those things comes in picture. So I have a question. Sometimes I face a question that I use predefined ML algorithm to build any model. So how should I? Yeah, that is true, because predefined algorithms are meant for, those are baseline models. In any of the research paper, you go and open any of the research paper, they will talk about baseline model, and they will talk about what they did extra on top of that baseline model. And that is what the real world projects are all about. So you need to, that's what your experience should tell, okay, that from your knowledge in machine learning or any one part, okay, if you are working on NLP, work on NLP. If you are working on machine learning, work on machine learning, okay. Work on data science problems. So you should focus on that particular area and then just go ahead with your questions. Okay, so you need to just see that how can you break the, how can you add those your cream on top of your baseline model. You need to figure it out. How to get real world projects. So that's what Priyanka was briefing at the beginning of this session, that we actually procure these data sets from different companies like Cipla, then Franklin, AMC, asset management company, and then we give the data to you where you will be actually working, and over the weekends we will actually discuss about that particular data set, that particular algorithm, that particular strategy that you want to apply. Okay, so at the end I will tell you what to do. Next slide talks about life cycle of any interview. Don't just get into a sad state and then, oh, I didn't able to crack the interview, let me just sit. Okay, that's not the case here. Okay, so first select your arena, select your job profile. Okay, work and expertise your arena. Give your control on interview. Don't let the interviewer take the control on you. Don't sit quiet in your interview. Talk about your experience only. Don't allow the interviewer to get into his problem statement. Then you will not able to solve it. So when you start your interview, first interviewer will actually give his or her introduction. Then comes your introduction. While you give your introduction, don't talk about your BTech, MTech and all of this. Interviewer is not interested. So you can say that I am an engineering grad, studied from XYZ college, and then directly jump into the project which you have worked. While you explain the project, Tell that what algorithm you have used, why you have used, what benefit it has delivered, and all the rest other pipelines that you want to explain. Okay. And finally, feedback and review. At the end of any interview, you should give a feedback. You should take a feedback, sorry, not give, take a feedback, sorry. You should take a feedback from your interviewer. At the end, you should say that please kindly share your feedback so that I can improve myself. Okay, always ask this question. The interviewer will automatically tell you that these are the areas you have done well, these are the areas you have not done well. You need more improvements. That will again help you to boost up that what are the areas, what is your arena, what is your job that you are actually looking for, whether you are fitting into that particular industry or not. Data science is broad, but the knowledge in data science is very industry specific. Somebody working on finance will better fit in finance. Somebody working on healthcare in his or her job search, if you go and apply for an healthcare, it becomes very easy for them to go ahead and apply. But somebody who was working in finance, okay, finance as a data scientist, okay, then again want to jump in healthcare will really get into a difficult state, because the dynamicness in the problem statement will be difficult. But yes, if you are good enough to break through, if you are good enough with your algorithm, with your reasoning, with your understanding of your questions, okay, understanding, you have a deep experience, then you can easily switch. Somebody who's having 5 years experience can easily switch. No issues. Okay. And the final hacks are show your impact, show the impact that you have created. Don't only talk about algorithm. Tell that we are able to kind of help these many patients. We are able to reduce the cost of advertisement. We are able to save these many dollars for this particular project, blah, blah, blah. What are the end benefits? You need to talk about that. If you don't talk about end benefits, you won't get the real exposure. We can easily understand that this guy doesn't have a real experience. He's just working on some random data. So try to talk about your impact that you want to create. Show your energy and eagerness. That is very important. Okay, don't just go ahead with simple problem statements. Just don't be like, okay, just asking a question and then I just need to answer. Doesn't work in that way. Okay? You need to show your energy. You should be showing that, yeah, you are very passionate to work in this. Okay. That also helps a bit. Okay. Maybe 2%, 3%, but yes, that helps a lot. And as you have chosen your industry, so let's say you have worked on healthcare, you have worked on healthcare industry, you are going to apply for finance. You have applied for a finance. So in that case, what happens? You can be very aggressive with your thought process. You can be very aggressive with your problem statements because you have worked on healthcare. You know better healthcare. Your interviewer doesn't know healthcare better. It can be vice versa. Okay. So in that case, try to give a chance to test you in extreme conditions. Okay. Sometimes don't overspeak. Allow the interviewer to give a kind of hard problem statement. Okay. So most of the questions while you attend the interview, they will ask you that, okay, tell me in which part you are comfortable with. Machine learning, deep learning. You can just simply say that, yes, I'm comfortable with anything. I have an experience in that. But yeah, if you ask question, because I have worked on deep learning, so if you ask me the questions related to deep learning, then I can just excel through. And I have also worked in machine learning. So no matter wherever you want to ask the question. So sometimes throw yourself through, and you know that if you answer in this way, interviewer will actually give you a hard question that you know it. So just answer in a way so that you can actually go and get a better negotiation at the end. This is very important. Because if your interview is with basic questions, normal questions, then you cannot go and negotiate at the end. Negotiate means negotiating your salary. You have to show some exception, so that there are 1,000 people now transiting from any other fields to data science. Everybody is applying for data science. So what is that difference you have created in your interview? So that is this point. You need to test yourself through some extreme condition. So then only you can get into the better negotiation. You can ask for a better pay. If you just solve the problem what your peers is solving, interviewer will only think that let me take who is the least budgeted ones, who is asking for a least money. But if you do some exceptionally well in your interview, if you solve some hard problem, 1 or 2 hard problem, maybe you cannot answer 1 or 2 problems. Out of 5 problems, if you have answered 3 hard problems, you can damn ask a very good salary. Okay, you can negotiate your salary. Because then it comes that I haven't asked the question to the other students or other participants, but this guy have answered my question. So let me take this guy. So you need to kind of put yourself through some extreme conditions. And that will definitely help you to get through more negotiation. It shows your confidence as well, that how confident you are. It is okay that even when I go and attend an interview, there might be some question which I may not have answered it properly. There can be a questions. Even I miss 1 or 2 questions. That is all fine. You can tell that, yeah, I don't remember this at this point in time. Probably with more exposure, I can just go back and hit this problem. But whatever answers you are giving, it has to be 100% correct. So the overall summary of this entire interview hack is, it's again go back to the first problem statement, which is get exposure to real world problems. And that's what we have neural words, where we get the product, we get the data from these companies, Cipla, Franklin, Walmart, Cleopatra Hospitals, Fitbit. Okay. Mostly we work in healthcare and finance project. Okay. From the asset management company. Don't think that bank provide the information. Okay. It is not like predicting loan. No. Those are all there. Those are ready-made there. Okay. Predicting loan is very easy. But predicting certain other factors, like, let me give an example. In finance, one of the core aspect is asset management company. Bank just takes the money, do the transaction for you, just revolve the money. But bank actual income starts from loans and asset management. Asset management doesn't mean that property and all. Those are different type of assets. There are many different 7+ types of assets are there. So basically what happens is, the finance company would love to have an understanding that what are the progress in their asset. Asset includes any sort of liabilities, asset includes any sort of stocks, investments. Okay. So Franklin makes an investment across different stock markets, across different stocks. So they want to understand that which stock or which market or which index is going to fall. How will they understand that? Based upon some global issues, based upon certain sentiments, based upon certain price action. Okay, those who understand finance, they will understand this price action. Price action is basically, I'm just giving a small hint on this. Price action means that there are certain baselines for any product. Somebody cannot charge a laptop more than 5 lakhs, not even more than 3 lakhs. You cannot charge a laptop more than 3 lakhs. You cannot charge a laptop with 5,000, new laptop. So you have certain price action. Okay, some dynamicness is there, some price action is there, some baselines are there. We need to predict what are those baselines, where my price will fluctuate. Will the baseline move with a period of time? Okay, so these all things comes in finance management. Those are very different data set, very different from what we learn. Coming to healthcare, I was giving an example on whether we are getting a patient. We need to predict whether the patient will get admitted in next 10 days or not. Patient was admitted. Now we need to predict that by when the patient will get readmitted. If I can early predict that readmission, then probably I will be able to help the patient with those information, those precautions that has to be taken. Next, disease progression. Somebody suffering from kidney disease. What are the reason of kidney disease? From where it is progressing? When did it started? Before that, what all the conditions are there? What is the population kidney disease prediction? It's not about a single patient. A patient having a same disease may get admitted, may not get admitted. It varies to patient. So you need to always deal with population. There comes a lot of statistical analysis. Chi-square, ARIMA, correlation if the results are continuous. And then do those statistical analysis and then figure out that what is the population telling, and then go for feature engineering. Then see that what are the important, is the medicine that the patient is taking creating a new disease, or is it the behavior? Okay, behavior in the sense the patient is smoking a lot, patient is drinking a lot. Okay, are those factors impacting the patient or not, or impacting the disease or not? So it is more like working as a scientist, real scientist, not just for a namesake scientist. Okay, so these are some of the Fitbit. Fitbit helps us with those informations. It is not about what is already there, what are the information getting recorded in Fitbit watch. Those are easy problem to solve. But Fitbit wants to know that if they have already made a sales of 10 million in quarter Q4, then what would be the next set of sales? Or what will be the amount of investments, or what would be the next set of sales, and which age group they are targeting. So Fitbit is something like most of the different age group people can wear, like anybody can wear, by the way, but they want to do an analysis and figure out that what are the different aspects, which age group, what are the population, how does it helping their sales. Then you have the Walmart and Cipla. Cipla is basically the medicine company in India. They want to figure out what are the side effects in their medicine, which side effects is actually leading to a disease, and what is that disease. Walmart wants to know that if Walmart sales is not just by transaction, they want to know that how many staff they should maintain, because it cannot be treated with just every transaction, or you cannot treat Walmart with every transaction, because Walmart is very large. You can say the markets are very large and there are so many things there. You cannot determine how many staff to keep it up there. So with a flow in the sense, with minutes of sales, with hourly sales, we need to align the staffs. Okay. And in all of these projects, so I just give a small brief of these projects. With all of these projects, the actual part is learning with how, when to use algorithm, what to use, how to think on these projects. What are the domain knowledge? If you select healthcare, the domain knowledge towards healthcare, you will get it. If you select finance, domain knowledge with the finance, you will get it. And these, which you can straight away apply in your LinkedIn, straight away apply in your resume, and you can just talk on that, show some of the white paper. So if you work with us, it will be kind of white paper will be there. And all of these data set we are procuring from these companies. So we are paying them to get this data set, because this data set cannot be kind of get through Kaggle or any other open source. We are paying them to get this data. So all of this comes with a minimal registration cost for you as well, okay? Which is very minimum. With 3 months of experience, you will get only in one project. Okay, 3 months of you don't have to know this project. You just need to join us. We will guide you through how to handle this project. Fees will be communicated by so after this session, our team will reach out to you. Okay, maybe today, tomorrow, so you can just work on that. So you will be actually going and let me show you. Just hold on for a minute. Let me show you in LinkedIn. Okay. So you will be part of the Neuralverse company. Okay. So if you see, so you can join with us. Okay. And those who are working on these projects. Okay. Now, if you have already have an experience, okay, and if you already have an experience, if you don't want to showcase that you are working with Neuralverse, then that is fine. Okay. There might be some restriction with the organization that you cannot work in 2 organizations parallelly. But for freshers, those who want to onboard, but those who want to kind of shift their doing their career transition, so you can add with the organization. And the same thing you can put into your resume. And we will be working on a white paper, okay, which will be a proven record. If you see my slides, what I said, that you need to prove value deliverables. Yeah, so Noman is there with us. He's already kind of registered with many of our folks are there over here. So they are all are working. I just invited them as well here to get through an understanding of how to kind of crack interviews, and how this project is very important for all of us. Okay. And that is what, prove your value deliverables. How will you prove it? Why should I believe on you? If an organization publish a paper, somebody cannot believe me, right, that I have 40 plus patents. They cannot believe me until I show them that yes, I do have it. So you need to kind of showcase that yes, I have it. This is being published by some XYZ organization. Okay. This has to be kind of accredited by certain organization. So you can see that this is my patent, which is being accredited by United States Patent Trademark Office. So they have published this here, and there are a hell lot of patents there. They have published it here, and because of that, I can go and say, if this is not published here, I cannot say that yeah, I do have a lot of patents. So you don't have to speak about that. Okay? Neuralverse will automatically publish a paper, okay, on the project that you will be working with, and that will be kind of be a benchmark for your interview. You can send it to your interviewer. It's not only the resume that you send to your interviewer. You can also send your additional stuff. Basically in US, Canada, in Canada, this is very strictly followed. They actually go with cover letter. If you don't provide a cover letter to your recruiter, yeah, in UK as well, in most of the outside organizations than India. In India, we don't follow these rules. We just go and directly jump and apply. Okay, but this acts very well because this stand you out that why you are fitting for that job. So in that cover letter, you can easily go ahead and you can send the link of the white paper which you will be publishing. And that will actually create a belief system, and then your CV will get shortlisted. Then they will understand, okay, yeah, this is something standing out differently from us. And that gives you the job. And obviously, when you work on a project, you will get that experience, you will gain the experience. And with that, you will be able to kind of understand very well that how to answer the business problem statements. When you, let's say you work on this Cleopatra Hospital project, okay? So whatever question comes from your medical science or healthcare will be easily cleared out. So you can kind of defend, or in fact, you can say your recruiter that this is what I have worked rigorously for past 3 months. We do have 6 months options as well. Okay. So those things can be kind of, you will get an advantage there. Yeah. So that's how it is so important. Okay. And you will basically get to see a lot of questions related to your business use case. Okay. That is for sure. Okay. And you will be able to learn also that how to solve the real world problems. The problems which are very specific to the business domain. And that is what people expect. That is what the interview, even I go ahead and kind of get the experience. I basically, when I go and try to interview or try to get hire people from the market, I will definitely want to look around that what are the strengths that particular user is having, or that particular candidate is having. Okay. So this is how you basically go ahead and figure out the strength part, figure out how can you typically solve your interview hacks. Okay. You need to get the real exposure. Until you get the real exposure, you cannot really crack the problem. Okay. And also, negotiation to your salary package will only come in place if you get to see, if you work on a real project. You want to outstand your salary package, you need to work on a real project, because you will be then treated as a senior guy. Right? So that is how you should be. You eventually can get a good designation as well, okay? Because that pretty much helps you in getting the experience with that level, to that level. So yeah, any questions now? I'm open to questions. Any doubts, any questions that you guys have it. And always, okay, building the feature using algorithm for an application will come under ML or data science. Building the feature. So first of all, building feature means there are many things, okay? We don't build features are pretty much there. Okay? Features are pretty much there with us. We need to choose the feature. If you want to build, when you say building the feature, you are synthetically creating the feature. Okay, so those are known as, those are very different. Those are basically the feature engineering page, or the feature like creating a synthetic feature, which is not allowed in data science or ML. So anyway, features are extracted from the data, and then you need to determine whether this feature to use or not. Okay, and lot more other stuff. So it all, see, machine learning is a part of data science. Okay, machine learning is part of data science. Data science is basically nothing but working with mostly the structured data. You don't work with application level data. You work as an analytics. That's the difference. Okay, so yeah, recommendation system doesn't matter. Like you have to do the feature engineer for recommendation system. You need to understand that which features are strongly contributing, and lot more. Not only with feature engineering will help. Sometimes the features which are not impacting can be made impacted. Okay, uh, can be made impacted if you do some sort of feature cleaning, or if you do some sort of tuning, feature tuning. Okay, some sort of, let's say, box Cox transformation. Okay, log transformation, some sort of decaying function. So guys, I have shared a link in the chat. Please kindly provide a feedback of this session. Okay, this is very, very important for us. You will also get a badge if you write a comment out there. Feedbacks are very helpful for us to understand and to get uh, uh, us on a right track. Okay, so please kindly share the feedback over here. Okay, I have a couple of questions. Sorry to ask you again, how can we show your real world project in our CV? So once you start working with us at Neuralverse, you will be showing the project which you have done under Neuralverse, and we will kind of give you the experience letter, accreditation letter and all for that particular project. So whenever your recruiter wants to come back and visit to us saying that the guy has really done a project, then we will give those accreditations as well. Okay. So once you start working with us, we will provide you with all the accreditation and everything. So you don't have to worry. I will guide you to add the project in a way that has to be added. What are the example? Okay, before that, I have an experience of 11 years. So first of all, it's a good experience that you have. Now there is two ways. You can basically go ahead and add as a product manager or a data science manager there. So for that, you really need to have a strong understanding, okay, of data science project, how end-to-end project works. So once you go through that end-to-end project, you will be able to understand, and you can straight away go for data science manager because you have that experience in real time. You can convert that experience towards data science and basically go ahead and add that experience there. The feedback link is leading to Google Maps. You will see once you open the feedback, you will get to see the ratings, stars and all. Just provide the ratings over there. What are the examples for using deep learning for a data science project? So Akash, one example I want to give, graph neural networks. We use graph neural networks. Graph neural networks we are using for what? We are using for predicting similar population of patients suffering from a particular disease. When you don't have a much information, much features with you, we actually try to narrow down the features, but rather we try to determine the behavior of the data. We use graph attention networks, graph neural networks. Eventually, we use okay. So a lot of things. It doesn't limit. Data science is not about limiting uh, limiting yourself with specific algorithms, but it is more about how can you think to solve a problem. It is not about algorithm. You can use deep learning, you can use simple regression as well, and you can use graph neural network as well. So it doesn't matter. That is what you will be able to learn. You are not able to clear the difference between ML and data science. See, machine learning is basically more focused to an algorithm. Data science is a subjectivity. Okay. Machine learning is more focused to an algorithm specific. Data science is subjectivity, that what your data says, and then apply ML over there. So data science is more with experience on the data as well as machine learning. It is not about just directly applying the algorithm. Yeah. So you will get to understand in these things in more details once you start working with us. You will actually get to know that how to solve the real world problems. And as I mentioned, the first steps in your interview hack starts with get exposure on real world problem. If you don't get exposure, you won't be able to solve the rest other areas. Got it, Akash? Also, you guys can follow me up in LinkedIn for any of the updates related to machine learning, okay, related to your job applications. Okay, if I get any sort of application, I will definitely help you guys. Okay, and yeah, you can follow me out there. Any of the area where I see that you guys fit in, I will definitely refer. Any questions? Anybody else? Any questions? I hope you guys all enjoyed this session. You understood the real world problem with data science interviews. The problem is mostly with the freshers, not with the experienced guy. Experienced guy can easily crack it. But for fresher, it becomes a bit hurdle because the expectations are a bit different. And also, please kindly share your feedbacks in the Google link. It is very important for us. Okay. And scope of automation. Automation is one of the important area coming under automobile industry. You see self-driving car. Okay. Now you don't need to have a self-driving car in India because you definitely cannot do that. But you can make a self-driving car specifically. You can make a semi-self-driving car. Means like you have Mahindra XUV 700. If you see that car has an ability to auto drive. Okay, so semi-auto drive, not completely an auto drive. So computer vision comes in that picture. Okay, computer vision comes in that picture. Then you have a lot of mathematical formulation that comes into the picture. Okay, so those are things and there, and every car is being priced based upon the feature, because car has 4 wheels. It can navigate from X location to Y location, which is very easy. Somebody can also buy Alto, can reach to the destination. Somebody can buy Mahindra XUV 700, can reach to the destination. But what matters is features, luxury. So features and luxury comes with specifically what elements you put in the car. Okay, like what are the sensing techniques, auto parking, okay, auto driving. Okay, so these things comes with ML. These things, then natural language processing. Okay, you are fitting your Alexa with your car. Okay, you have this MG Hector, which gets you the internet inside car. Means there is a SIM card which is being blended with your car, which basically goes ahead and track everything. It has a voice assistant. It has many such features. So all these things comes with ML, and slowly the industry is adopting towards self-driving car. But in India, let's be very realistic. Okay, in India it is way difficult, and in most of the countries it is very difficult. Apart from US, where you have a smooth road and everything pretty much there. But again, it is limited to certain cities only. You cannot drive the car in counties. Okay, you cannot drive the car. Means counties in the way like where you have a hectic roads, mud roads and all, which is very rare nowadays in India as well, where every roads are very clean enough, much better in counties than the cities. Okay, but yes, there are certain situations where the self-driving cars cannot fix it. Let's say if the car gets stuck in mud, can it identify the lanes properly? Can it identify the without any indicators, identifying the roadmap, identifying the path without any indicators, without any determining that whether it is a road or whether it's a lane, okay, without any indicators, can it determine? So there are a lot of questions that comes in. So most of the car industry, automobile industry is moving towards semi self-driving car, like Mahindra XUV 700, the best car. Okay, so AI is kind of floating everywhere, okay, in every aspect. So it's just because you just the problem statements are not so widened enough, but it is very specific to the business problem. So that's what you need to know it. Cool. Also, do follow Neuralverse, okay, uh, because they are basically kind of conducting this entire uh, program, and follow Neuralverse for any of the job updates or any of the hiring updates. Okay, we do also hire here for any of the freelance projects. Okay, we are currently working with one of the fishery departments in Mexico to get an automated platform. Okay, it is not with AI, but yeah, it's with full stack development where you actually get to work with Python, Django, AWS cloud databases and all. Okay. So that these projects comes as a freelance project and you guys can participate. So follow Neuralverse AI as well, okay, for further updates and hiring updates.